Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to make a short, I don't know how short it's going to be, but a discussion video just kind of going over everything that we have gotten in the past, week and a half for Overwatch, and if I think that everything that we have gotten recently is right for the game. If I think that what we've gotten is good and helpful for making the game of Overwatch a better game. So obviously that includes role queue and role lock, these new hero balance changes, Sigma, and the other thing that includes is summer games. How is summer games this year kind of compared to the other events we've had and whatnot. So I'll start with summer games. I think this is another year of a very lackluster summer games event. At this point in time, I just don't really care about summer games. They would need to do a lot more to catch my interest, but I think the game devs really understand that the events aren't really what people care about with the game. Like, yeah, they like to get new skins and whatnot, but at the end of the day, people just want the game itself to be better. So if that means, taking time away from the events, I think people will care a little bit more, because the events are always temporary, but the game itself is not. If you go into a game of competitive, it's the same game no matter what, right? So I think you have to look at the state of the game and how they've been pushing through all of these changes. Of course, it's going to result in lackluster events. I know Jeff Kaplan confirmed that Halloween Terror would pretty much be the same way, about the same number of legendary skins as what we got in summer games, with not a ton of new stuff, if any new stuff at all, about Junkenstein's Revenge. I'd expect maybe we get one or two heroes added to the Junkenstein's Revenge roster. I believe last year we got Brig added, and maybe Tracer, but Tracer might have already been in it. But I know they added, a couple heroes to the roster for Junkenstein's Revenge, so maybe they'll add a couple more. I don't know who. Maybe they add Baptiste, or maybe they, I don't know, add Sigma. Sigma's kind of like a weird magic guy in a way, so I think he'd be an interesting one to add. But we'll have to see what they add when it comes. But in general, I feel like the Summer Games event, I think the fact that they added the challenges is really nice. It, for me, has gotten me to actually be focusing on the event. Because I normally am the kind of person who focuses on events. But Summer Games, I don't really care about. I don't really like the Summer Games skins, though I do like the Torbjorn skin just because of how absurd it is. But I personally am not really a big fan of the Summer Games skins. But knowing that I can get these epic skins that I probably can't get ever again, if I don't get them through these weekly challenges, I'm motivated to get these skins. And it's the only thing right now that's keeping me on the live servers at all. I get my 9 wins on the live servers, and then I dip out and go play the PTR. Because the PTR is just a much better experience, which is what leads me into role queue and role lock. I think role queue and role lock have been flawlessly executed. I won't say flawlessly. There's obviously a couple things that could change here and there, and I'm sure things that will get ironed out. I have not had any issues with it, though, that have made me think that it was a bad idea. I have had more fun playing the game with these in than ever before, and it's been consistent. It wasn't like the first time, like the first day when it was just like new and it was like, kind of that honeymoon phase. Every time I go back, I still consistently have fun. I have good matches. Even the matches where I feel like it's pretty one-sided, I'm not frustrated because I see how the other team is playing and how much better they're playing. And my frustration isn't, well, if we had a viable team composition, my frustration is, well, if the team would, be better at communication or whatnot. But that's always going to be a problem. That's not a problem that you can fix with role queue and role lock. Role queue and role lock, what it does allow you to fix is it allows you to take a team composition that would be bad, and now you force it into a viable, good team composition no matter what. Though there are still things that could go wrong, like you could run D.Va Zarya, and that isn't always great. But you don't have to really worry about that on the PTR right now because of Sigma. You're always going to have a barrier tank. Because Sigma, of course, is a barrier tank. But I think you look at what role queue and what role lock has done. For me, it's been amazing. I had so much more fun playing competitive. I always hated playing competitive. The way it is in the live servers, I despise it. I haven't even done my placements for this season. I'll probably wait until like the last day or one of the last couple of days to get those in, just because I really don't like doing competitive as it is currently. I'm in such a horrible position with my SR that I just don't enjoy it, and it's so hard to do anything for me enjoyable, because I know like the chances are the compositions are going to be frustrating to me and they're going to be bad and I just can't do it, and it's just like I don't want to deal with this. But when I get into the PTR, I have people who, and obviously it's the PTR, so you're going to get kind of the people who actually care about the game, who are like playing it to check it out, and also are like, I'm on the PTR because I like the PTR and I like testing stuff out, and I'm invested in this game. So you don't get those people who just kind of go and play competitive, you know, every season just to rank up and then leave, which is what I am. But I want that to change, of course, and I'm hoping that is something that will very much change now that we have roll queue and roll lock, because I think they're two very good features that work very well, and I've had a great time using them. But at the end of the day, I think that it was by far the right move for them to make. It's just a matter of should they have made it sooner. And obviously, it was a feature that took a long time to develop, and I'm sure that that's a big part of why a lot of the things that we've been getting recently, events-wise and whatnot, have been a little bit lesser than usual, because they've been so focused on making the game better with roll queue and roll lock. And I don't know if there's another big project planned. Obviously, there's rumors about Overwatch 2 or an Overwatch expansion. You know, who knows what we're going to get. And we know some other stuff that's coming down the road as well, like Zenyatta lore. So I don't know if that's an animated short. We don't know if that is comics or whatnot, or a short story. But I think we have seen, if nothing else, what we have seen is that they have been really working to make this game as good as possible. And I think they have understood that 222 is necessary, because that's the way that they had originally intended the game to be played. They just didn't think people would be doing what they do, where they one-trick a hero, or they all just want to play DPS. You know, they figured that teams and players would communicate with each other and figure out what they needed for a good team composition. Obviously, though, that isn't going to happen, because some people aren't like that. And the other thing you can't get rid of, you know, with roll lock and roll queue, that I'm not going to, you know, I'm not going to say to them, oh, this is a bad thing because you didn't do this. Like, you can't get rid of people who are toxic or just flat out annoying or whatnot. You can't get rid of that. So I think roll queue is great. I think 222 is great. I think it's been really well done. There's obviously things that are wrong, but those are things that are wrong at a player level, not a game design level. So you can't really fix that anyway. And then we get to Sigma. I think Sigma is a very good addition. The thing with Sigma, of course, is that he's a barrier tank, which we definitely needed a barrier tank. The last barrier tank we got was Orisa. Sigma, obviously, is changing the way the game is played a little bit. He's a little bit different than usual, so I really like Sigma. I think he's a really cool hero. He's a really fun hero to play. And just in general, I feel like he's someone who's going to be bringing more people into playing main tank more often. I think Sigma as a hero is very well designed. He's very fun. He's a hero that I would love to see more how he's played when the pros have their hands on him. Obviously, we're going to see him at the end of Stage 4 in the play-in tournament. He's going to be in the playoffs itself for Overwatch League Season 2, so I'm really excited to see that. And, you know, one of the things, of course, with Sigma as well is, obviously, some people aren't going to be necessarily happy that we got Sigma as the character. Some people might be like, well, I think we should have gotten, you know, someone who wasn't just another white guy, which I 100% understand that. That is a valid criticism of a game that has been, you know, a lot of the heroes in the game are just kind of white dudes, and in general in media, a lot of the heroes are just white dudes. So I understand that's a very valid criticism, or some people might say, like, I think we should have gotten, you know, a character that did this instead of this. You know, people aren't happy with the abilities. But I think in general, most people agree that a barrier tank was the right type of hero. So whether or not you think Sigma was the best way to do a barrier tank, obviously that can change your opinion. But I think most people would agree a barrier tank was needed for this hero that we just got, and we did get one. I'm hoping the next hero we get is a support. I'm hoping Echo is a support. I don't know if we'll get Echo at BlizzCon. It seems weird to me to kind of have Echo show up at BlizzCon one year and then announce them the next year. I just think that's a really weird way to do it, but who knows? It's Blizzard. They do everything they want. We'll see what happens. But in general, I think that these changes were great for the game. I think that this is the best thing that they have done to make this game the best possible game it can be. I support 100% everything they have done to improve these games as much as they can. I think that we are in a golden age for Overwatch in terms of playing, and it's going to be great when you're watching as well. The hero balance changes are very good as well. Obviously, I'm a little upset about the Moira change. I think Moira, if you didn't know, Moira's ability to fade out a stun got removed, and I think that that just once again puts Moira back in a very bad position as a hero. Most of the stuff that she could get out of with phase, she could already get out of. Stuff like Graviton Surge, I think she could already get out of Junkrat Traps. There was already stuff she could get out of, and now it's just kind of, you know, you have Moira who is now just, once again, her thing is just her ability to heal the team in a group setting, but you already have Lucio who can do that, you already have Brigitte who can do that, and they also have more kind of utility. You know, Moira's ultimate is just Coalescence, which is just a lot of healing and a lot of damage, and it's not even that much. So I think you kind of look at that, and I don't really agree with the way that they changed Moira again to make her once again a kind of mediocre hero in most team compositions, especially when you can't run triple tank or triple or quad tank compositions anymore, which is where she used to be kind of really good because she could throw her healing orb in and it would heal the team in the group, and she could spray the team. You can't do that anymore. And obviously we've seen her get some play in the Overwatch League now with role lock and whatnot, but I just think that taking away Moira's ability to do something that made her a more unique hero is a bad move, because I feel like people just didn't want to learn how to play around it. It wasn't that overpowered. You know, it's not hard to play around something if you just learn and you just practice and you go, okay, so in order to deal with this, what we have to do is either don't stun Moira, or you wait until she's used Fade to stun Moira. You just leave Moira alone. If you're doing enough damage, Moira can't heal. And if you have a diva, Moira can't really heal anyway with the healing orb. So there's a lot of things you can do to counter Moira, even if she can fade out of a lot of stuff. And I think that this change isn't really something that I think she needed to lose. But the game decided that that's what needed to happen, and I will accept that that is what happened. But I think the rest of the hero changes have been very good. The Somber one, a little bit interesting, because she's really good at higher rankings, but pretty bad in lower rankings, so that's interesting. And then also, I think when you look at the Brigitte changes, those are some of my favorites. I think they really, really work. I'm really glad they lowered the volume of her repair pack, so my ears don't bleed anymore, because that was really bad. And now my ears are fine whenever I play Brigitte, and I love playing Brigitte, so I had a lot of bleeding ears. So I think in general, the way that they change things on the PPR is very good. I feel like Symmetra's changes aren't really being talked about a lot, because they're kind of nerfs, because her teleporter has a little bit less utility now, because it takes a lot longer to come back, but also is there infinitely, so it's a whole thing, of course, that we'll have to wait and see how the whole situation unfolds. But for now, I think I'm going to end this video off with this final statement, which is just, I think that these changes were the best possible changes for this game at this current moment. And I think that the game will ultimately be a better game because of roll queue and roll lock. And obviously, every time there's a new hero, I think the game is better off, because it changes things with the way that people play, and it adds new utility to the game. So I think that's always a good thing, even if it's a hero that people aren't super fond of, like Brigitte. I still think it's a good thing for the game in general. But that's everything that I have for you today. If you enjoyed, consider liking and subscribing. And if you want more videos like this in the future, let me know in the comments down below. Also, let me know down below what you feel about 222 and roll queue and Sigma, the hero changes, whatever you want to let me know about, summer games, all of it. Let me know down below. But I'm gonna get out of here now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.